you have been following the program very well, I have dominantly focused on the human resources within the education space, which I also believe is a key part of how your organization becomes successful. We have done an overview of your human resources. We have done an overview of your human resources, their function, what you are expected to do, what is expected of you. Even if you don't have money to get human resources, how you can do it, and so on, the equipment and everything. Now, in today's presentation, our focus will be on how do we build a team, and then how do we manage the team that we have built. It's a different thing entirely to build a team. It's a different thing again to know how to manage a team. You can make a team. It is also important to multiply the team, and it's also important to manage the team. These are the 3 M's. In fact, in terms of your school finance, you must know how to make money, multiply the money, and manage the money. In terms of your students, you must know how to make the students, to multiply them, and to manage them. So, as far as human resources is concerned, as far as resources, whether human and financial or even material is concerned, you must be able to make, multiply, and manage. A lot of people have mastered the strategy and the skill needed to make. However, some persons have not mastered the skill, the strategy, have enough knowledge to be able to multiply. So when everything is stage, you might be at the stage where you are still trying to pay. So you must learn how to pay. You might be at the stage where you need to multiply. When you begin to have staff, your human resources, your financial resources are coming in. The next thing in your mind is to know how to multiply those resources. And then when you have multiplied the resources, the next thing is to manage. And I found out that a lot of people have mastered these two, but the major problem has been managing whatever resources they put together. And then one of the things we want to explain is going to be a very short presentation, but much more importantly, we want to look at how manage, and of course, for some of us, how do we build. Now, having said that, in today's presentation, look at a brief introduction to team building and management functions, effective team management strategies, team building activities that we can do, why we need to build our team and manage it, what makes a characteristic of a good team, so that when we begin to analyze, when we begin to look at the current team that we have, we can do a proper evaluation and see how we go from there. This is a particular workbook I created, and I usually use for sessions like this. Maybe later on I will send us the soft copy. I usually use as form of workshop. Now, before we go into letting us to know what team building and management is, I want us to perform 1 or 2 tasks. Activity 1.0. I will ask a question. You can put it in the comment box, or we simplify so that I can ask you to talk. Now, these are reflective questions that you need to critically ask yourself as a school owner. Number 1, question is, why is a team and teamwork important to the development of your school or your organization? Why is a team and teamwork important to the growth and development of the school and your organization? Why do you need to build a team? Why do you need to manage a team? I want to either put it in the comment box or I will ask us to answer. I want to ask 3 questions as they go so I can give us opportunity to answer. Number 2 question: why are you a leader in your organization, and what is your specific goal? Why are you a leader in that organization, and what is your specific goal? And then number 3, you rate yourself 1 to 10. What is your performance as a leader, and what is the performance of your team? How well are your team performing? Rate it 1 to 10, and also rate yourself as a leader 1 to 10. These are 3 questions I want to have a feedback on. So we call them reflective questions because they take us back to the drawing board, and we're able to see a clear picture of what is and what is not. Most of us have not taken time to ask these critical questions that could really help us in shaping our teams and how we manage. So I will give us like 2 minutes to answer those questions. I will give us like 2 minutes to answer those questions.
I want to see where thunder scatter. Where thunder scatter. I'll do that too. If I I did not connect it to light. For me, I knew that you know what things. I'm giving you something and they're going to take.
Okay. I will keep have you been able to do that? I'm expecting feedback now.
I'll keep that to my junior ones.
If you are not typing, maybe you want to talk. Like I've said, I have focused for this conference. I have focused more on a team, all this one. So I'm expecting us to get a feedback. I'm expecting a feedback. Either we write it or we give a feedback. Somebody said the team and the teamwork is part of. Now we want you to personalize it to my school. I will come.
Good.
I'm not happy to love talk and discuss.
I can't hear from my end again. The network is bad, it's fluctuating. Don't know if anyone can hear me.
Same here with me. I can't hear.
Okay.
Why is a team and teamwork important to the development of your school? That's number one. Number two, I have asked you again that why are you the leader in that organization? Why are you people? What is your specific goal as a leader? And then number three, about that, you rate your team from 1 to 10 in terms of performance and also rate yourself. So far, so good. I said they are reflective questions. You just want to create a picture of where we are, where we ought to be, so that we can know where we are going. So I'm expecting questions. This, if you want to talk, you can simplify. Now, having said that, it's like you don't want to respond.
What did you say?
Voice over, what did you-
I'm waiting for. Okay. Since we don't want to give feedback, I hope everybody is here. Let me see. Is that we don't want to give I'm expecting other feedback. We can type in the comment box. We can type. So let's proceed then. Now we proceed in what is team building. And then we have defined team building as the process of causing a group of people to work together effectively as a team, in especially with activities and events, in order to achieve. When you are trying to build a team, you want to ensure, not quest. You want to ensure, the word ensure, or you want to propel, or you want to motivate, or you want to encourage, or you want to stimulate a group of people to work together as a team. You want to stimulate a group of people to work together as a team. So it is your duty that you see that your people are able to work together. It is your duty to see that your people are able to work together. And let me say this, building a team is an intentional team. Building a team is an intentional team. It's not something that you say, oh, I have employed you, I expect you to work together. No, it takes conscious effort. It takes different strategic activities and events to bring people together and to see that they are working in one towards achieving a goal. Now, if you are able, and of course, let me also say this, to build a team, it takes time. Building a team takes time. In some of the ones that we know, we talk about the forming stage, the norming, the storming, and the likes. There will be a stage within your organization where those that you are supporting, they are just getting to know themselves. There are stages where there will be challenges. This one will say, this one is chasing me. This one is using eye to pursue me, and so on. We call that stage storming stage, where there will be different challenges within the team. And then it is your duty to help that team to navigate around it because it is part of the building of that team. Challenges are part of the building process of the team. To go. And then, of course, once the team has been built over time, because of times, the system and the structure in place. Let me also say this. Somebody said, I can't rate my team now. And it's like I was saying the other time, we have a lot of work to do. By now, we must know the level at which our team is operating. Let me give you a typical example. Let's say the objectives are for the term is just 3, for instance. And then the rate at which your team is producing results towards that objective is maybe they have been able to achieve one of those objectives, and then they are supposed to have achieved it in 2 weeks. I'm just using those examples. Or you have about 10 staff, and about 3 or 4 of them are the ones that are effective. Your team is working at 20-30 below range, 20-30%. And again, quantitatively, when you have assessed individuals, you now place it at a total. For instance, over 100, if Mr. A, when you have assessed the person, is at 20%, Mr. B is at 20%, Mr. C is at 80%. That is 80 plus 20 plus 20 divided by the what's it called, gives you the percentage at which, or the rate at which your team is working. So you can determine it quantitatively. And that is why we need data to get information and also make informed decisions. We don't just make decisions, and that's why you cannot say, you have been sitting too much, therefore you are not effective. No. So we need accurate data to be able to determine this. But as we go on, we'll be able to analyze our team. Now, when you have been able to build your team, the next thing is team management. So there are 2 topics built in one. Team management is the process of now guiding. Your function in the first one is a builder. And if you are going to build something, you must have a plan for it. You must have a process for it. Everything well thought out. And then it's in stages, from lintel to roofing and so on like that. But by the time you get to management, you are just maintaining. You want to maintain a status quo. You have policies on ground. You have rules on ground. You have status quo on ground. Even if they are going to change, not they are going to be bent. Even if because things change, you have to be flexible. There are processes to which it must pass before it gets changed or improved upon. Let me use the word improved upon. So management, therefore, you are not a builder again. You are a facilitator. You are a guide. You are now in management. You are putting people through the process that your team have worked through over time. They know the process now. Your own major work is now to, don't forget that this is how we did it and we paid the other time. Your own now is now to guide. So team management is a process of guiding a group in achieving particular goal. The first one is causing or stimulating people to work together. The second one is guiding them to achieving the target. So it is very important. Now, how or what is team building? What does it entail? What does team building entail? In trying to build a team, you must define objectives. In trying to build a team, you must define objectives. So that means you must, like I've said, though we have said it in our previous teachings, that you must not do the mistake again of bringing somebody in without having in mind and well written down what they are coming to do. It is an aberration. It is an error. There must be a specific purpose why somebody is coming. They are not coming to fill numbers. They are not coming to add to the staff. They are not coming because they want to come and teach a particular subject. They are coming because there is a particular goal you want to achieve in your organization. So outside teaching, you have a goal in mind. So that's one of the key tasks you must now start with. As a team, as a leader that has a team, what are the objectives of the team? You must state it clearly. Number two, in trying to build, and again, let me also say this, you must have a clear objective of where you want your organization to be. You observe that in the course of this program, we have almost every day highlight that fact that we must have the end in view. That by 5 years, this is where I want my school. Now, when you have now set those clear objectives, the next thing is now to look at the current output of your team. You now ask yourself a critical question. If we are going like this, can we achieve those objectives in the next 5 years? These are honest questions. So I want you to take a review now. So most of these things here now are a review class. Ask yourself this singular question. If we are going like this in my organization, are we going to achieve the objective that we have set? If not, there is a problem and you need to fix it. Now, the next thing is to design activities. If you have identified that the current output of your team is not commensurate with what you want to achieve, that means that you still need them to work individually and also to work together as a team. So your next point of call is now to look at how do you design activities that will bring them together. And that is why it is important in trying to build a team. You can say, so person, you guys should be working together on this. Give me feedback. And then you can bring a task that brings 2, 3, 4 persons together. With that, they get to begin to know themselves and begin to work together. If I have a school owner, she complained that they are not organized within the organization, and that is a problem. Now, in my work with her, I found out that the way she operates, she has the principal, she has the vice principal, and so on. The vice principal will come to her table and table whatever she wants to do. The principal will come. This person will come. And now told her that when you are doing like this, you are not building a team. You are building a. Let me tell you this: if your people are not working in one accord to achieving a goal, what you have is a staff, not a team. And then the best way to go far as an organization is to build a team where everybody is working towards it. I told her that if people are coming to you individually like this will come, then how do you want them to work together? So once you have identified the output is not commensurate, design activities, bring 2, 3, 4 persons together. I want you to achieve this in the next 1 or 2 weeks. All of you will have to do this. But I know there are various team building activities your team can work on. You can create a time. In fact, there was a time I told someone that oftentimes I usually encourage school owners, set up a time. Let them just be together and know themselves. You can call it the bonding time. Let them be together. Design activities that will bring them together. the more they come together, the more they begin to understand one another. And then the more they have intimacy with you, and of course, they understand the assignment better and they help get it. Have picnics, have hangouts, have design activities or tasks that involve 2 or 3 persons and they involve them to come together to work as a unit. If you are doing individual in your organization, you are doing more harm than good. Now, again, as you have identified activities, also identify individuals, because in a team, they have individual strengths. There are some persons, time will not permit me because this is not a workshop. I would have taken you deeper into understanding people working with you. One of the tasks you must do is to understand people that work with you. There are some persons, they are not vocal, they are thinkers, they are analyzers. You must have them in a particular. And then let me say this: there must be diversity in your team, and that is why when you are identifying your objectives, it is good that you have objectives where you are bringing people together. It is then you know those people that you want to bring in. For instance, in a typical team, you must have the doers. These people are people that once they hear instruction, they move, they facilitate things, they run with it. You have the thinkers. What they do is to sit down and, okay, this is what we are supposed to do. We call them the strategists. Some people are gifted like that. We have some people, the analyzers. All they do is to analyze. They can analyze, okay, when things go on, this is where we go on. I observe you. You must have those people like that in your team. So identify the strength of individuals in your team. That is when you can design activities. So when you are designing activities, you are putting in your mind that this activity will require that somebody that will help them think, somebody that will do. Everybody cannot be doers. Everybody cannot be thinkers. Everybody cannot be performers. Everybody, and so on like that. You all have different strengths. When you have identified individuals, you now need to train them. Train them on their strength first before you start training them on their weakness. People perform better on their strength than their weaknesses. I've always said it. People perform better in their area of strength than weaknesses. But if your own focus is to focus on, and I've observed something, people train people more, or organizations train people more in their area of weakness than their area of strength. You only train people on their area of weakness if it's an immediate or emergency. The first thing is to train people on their area of strength so that they can consolidate and become better. I'm a very good speaker. If you want me to speak better, train me on how to speak more, because there are things I still don't know about how to speak. That if I know it, I will give you more output than what I'm giving now. So train me on my area of strength so that I can give you more results. Then when I've become much more in my area of strength, then I begin to introduce the area of. So to build a team, you must train people on their area of strength. It is important. Then the next thing is you must monitor team effort. When you design activities for them and you give them, make sure you monitor. One of the things I have observed over time is that school owners complain that they are not working. Why in the actual part, they are the ones that are not monitoring. You must have a system for monitoring what is going on in your organization. If you don't monitor, you cannot multiply. If you don't monitor, you cannot manage. If you don't monitor, you cannot build. So it is important that you monitor. Just go once in a while. Okay, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Okay, tell me, what are you trying to achieve? What has been the problem? Get feedbacks. How do you think you can do it better? Monitor. And when you give a team, as you are trying to build them, when you give them a particular, maybe you can say, okay, this team, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Your own function is to enroll. And then, of course, we have talked about incentives and everything, so you understand that one. So as you are building them to become better in terms of enrolling students there, you are also monitoring them. How many people have you gotten? What are the challenges that you faced yesterday? I learned that something like this happened. How do you think you are going to overcome it? When they finish that task, the next thing is to evaluate and see where they have done better and where they are trying to see it, and give them maximum support. Then by the time they finish the evaluation, you take them back to the clear objectives again. The objectives again. This is what we are trying to achieve. But from what you have done, we have been able to achieve it. No, we have not finished it. Can we try to do this better so that we can achieve the third one or the fourth one? So these are processes that you must design to build a team. This is important. Now, having said that, permit me to ask another question. A very thought-provoking question. Now, the question I want to ask is this. What are the 3 things that you want your team? Now, evaluate your team. Look at your team holistically, people that are working with you. They are a team. They are not your staff. And then it's one of the things I usually tell owners. People working with you are not your staff. If you see them as a staff, that's why the first question is very important. For those that answer those questions, please, I want you to, what I intended doing was to create a mentality in us. Those that are working with you are not your staff, they are your team. And teamwork make dream work. Teamwork make a dream. So if you have a dream for your school, you must make your team to work, or else that dream will not work. So now back to the question I wanted to ask us. What are the 3 things that you want your team to start doing now? What are the things that you want your team to stop doing? Evaluate your team. You know what they are doing now. You know what they are doing that is not right. What are the 3 things you want them to stop doing? And what are the 3 things you want your team to start doing? I will be waiting for us in the next 2 minutes in the comment section. Before we move. Okay. Have you been able to, can we please start to provide answers? If you have, can we please begin to provide answers? I intend to stop by 8. I intend to stop by, but I want this to be much more interactive because I want to get feedbacks from us. Can we start to get feedbacks? Can we start to get feedbacks on what you have? Okay. Somebody want to talk here? We can talk if you don't want to type. I'm listening. Somebody wanted to talk. Who is talking? Who is talking? I think Dr. Raji wanted to talk.
I wanted to talk, but you can continue, sir.
Okay.
I'm looking at the.
Now, do you have anybody that want to type? We are not responding tonight. What is the problem? We are not responding tonight. What is the problem?
No problem, sir. Let's just
only
continue.
Mrs. Joy Ojo has been responding on the platform. Please, can we respond? Somebody has been, of course, like I've said, if it was supposed to be a physical conference, of course, I would have given us the paper. Okay. That's number 2. I want to make it 3. That is what you are going to start to work with. Like you can see that beyond identify, we are trying to identify issues here now. We are trying to identify issues so that we can see more opportunities to correct some things. Now, okay, that's number 2. Okay, what do you want them to start doing now? What do you want them to stop doing now? Please, we need feedback. So it's very important. This that we are doing. This particular, I think I went to a particular NAPS. I think it was NAPS. Is it NAPS or your NAPS? We discussed the particular topic. They needed to pay very huge amount for me to come to that point. Because it was very lively, we interact, we talked, they had this paper, they were writing, and the likes. So I want us to, so we can get value for our money as well. I know we have been getting value. Nobody is talking again. Okay, let's look at the characteristics of a high-performing team. Let's look at characteristics of a high-performing team. I'll be doing this vis-a-vis what is in mind, what's it for you. Number 1, one of the characteristics of the high-performing team is that they have a clear goal, and the goal is common. Now, if you want to know whether your people have a clear goal, just walk up to them on Monday morning and ask them, what are we trying to achieve in this organization? You will be shocked that most people working with you don't even know what you're trying to achieve. And it's one of the highest aberration in management. When you have people that are coming every single day and they do not know what they are trying to achieve, it's an aberration. So you must let them know the clear goals, so that if you ask if you ask them, thank you at set time. So we are going to that. So now, if that's what you want from them, you must set that goal. That these are the things I do not want. These are the things that I want, and set the goal. Let it be a common goal. That in the 6th and 7th week, our focus is that this and this must stop. It's a goal on its own. And this is a common goal. This is what we are trying to achieve. Now, please, when you get back to your school, God bless you. God bless you. These are good feedback. When you get to your school, go and work on it, that everybody know the goals you are trying to achieve. Everybody. And then after 2 weeks, go back and ask them again, what are we trying to achieve? It is very important. What are we trying to achieve? It's very important. So common and clear goal is one of the characteristics of a high-performing team. All of them know what they are trying to achieve. All of them. And this is what we must make your team to start working. Number 2 is that there is cohesion. in the team, there is cohesion. They are coming together as a unit. Nobody, irrespective of their background, and it's one of the culture you must create the organization. Time will not permit us to talk about how to build a culture in an organization. Culture is like a norm. For instance, there's some organization where when you come, you go and greet yourself all around. Make sure people that are within that place, greet them all around. It's a culture. Culture is what sets. Culture is what sets your organization apart. Culture is what sets your organization apart. So a team, a high-performing team, have a culture, the way of doing things that is unique. In your own, what's it called? One of the culture is that when you as a boss, when you come in, try to greet everybody and ask for their welfare. So when a new person comes in, you will see that the person will ask, is that how you do it here? That when the boss comes in, greet everybody around. I'm just giving you example. So you must create a culture in that your organization. That everybody know that this is the norm. Or if anybody offends somebody, they must apologize and they settle it. That could be a culture. Or if you are in a meeting, if you want to talk, you must raise up your hand. That is a culture. Some organizations do not say anybody can talk anytime. So you must create a culture. And that culture must also bring cohesion. They must be working together as a single unit. So it's your work as a leader, there must be cohesion. Number 3 is that when there's a cohesion, there must be a collaboration. People are working together, not as a single unit, as a team. The next one is leadership. Like I usually say, you must have who are leaders? Leaders are people that influences people towards a course of action. So you must have people that influence positively. But if you only have just one person that is trying to influence you, on the long run, the person gets tired because you will not be able to influence as many people as possible. But out of a team of 10, you have about 7 or 5 leaders that once they start something, people follow immediately. Then you have a team already. But if you have a team that only 1 or 2 persons are trying to move things, you don't have a team. That's a problem. So you must have leaders in the organization. The next thing in a typical team, there is trust. People trust you enough to want to work for you. They know that you will not mismanage their lives. Now, I have observed over time that people tend to work for people that they trust enough. Now, if they are not trusting enough, they have seen signs and traits that if I commit too much to this particular person, on the long run, it will be sorry for the it will be sorry. My case will be sorry on the long run. They will not commit. I will not get the best out of them. So they must trust you enough, and they must trust your leadership that you are going to make the right decision and the right choice that will affect their life positively. People do not just commit anyhow. It takes some certain level of trust for people to commit themselves to a particular cause. So there must be trust, and people must trust one another enough in that thing that I trust these people that we can work together to achieve this goal. Or else, what you are going to see will be individuality. The next thing is accountability, and I feel that this is one of the major problems. In most schools, we don't have what is called a reporting system. I have found out from the schools I have gone over time, and I've met with quite a, I will say, what's your reporting system here? But I'll be sure that some school now will be asking me, what do you mean by a reporting system? I said that is a problem. And that is what made people not to be accountable. They know that if you give them a particular work, maybe you ask them after 2 weeks. They know that they are not accountable to a particular person. So when you have, if you want to build a team, build accountability system. And how do you build an accountability system? There must be a reporting system. If you give me a task, there must be somebody I will be reporting to that reports to you. And then immediately you are monitoring and you are giving feedback. So even in a home, if there is no accountability system, anybody does anything that they like because there is nobody they are reporting to. So to build a high performing team, your people must be accountable. You must account for whatever action that you have done. And then if there is a need for effect, there must be effect for every course of action. Accountability makes a team fly because everybody knows whatever I do must give feedback. So it's very important. Another one is when you want to build a high performing team, there must be high level of commitment. When you have 20% of people in your organization being committed, there is a problem already in the organization. At least 70 to 80% of the people working with you must be committed set of people. And that is where your leadership comes in. You must have, if you want to enjoy a high performing team, there must be a team that are committed. Commitment is required to achieve continuous or continuity in growth. When you have less people that are committed, you'll be able to achieve any goal. So, and that is why your building stage,
that white one now,
stage, and then your monitoring is important. So you can determine those that are committed. Those that are not committed, you first find a way of making them to commit. You first find a way to ensure that they are committed. And if over time they are not doing it, they have to be. Or else, when 1, 2, 3, 4 persons are not committed in that team, other people begin to get that energy. Because in a team, there is something called energy. Energy is transmittable. When I'm working and I'm committed to a particular cause, and people around me are not committed as that, I have the tendency of losing those commitments over time. And as such, you move to a state that we call team dysfunctionality, where the team becomes dysfunctional over time.
Daniel.
So commitment is very key. And then the next one is communication. A high performing team is a team that communicates. Never assume that people know. You will be shocked that those that
white
know
or
did not know enough take required action.
Or check all the
they have wrong information. So please do well if you are to communicate. If it is possible, communicate daily. It's one of the things I love Mrs. Raji for, Dr. Mrs. Raji for. She's very good at that. She communicates very well. So please, to build a high-performing team, you must communicate. Let them know your expectation. Let them get feedbacks on what they do. Let them see how they can improve and tell them this is what I want you to improve. Communicate. It is never too much, but it can be less if you are not careful. Communication is never too much. Communicate about everything that they need to do. It is important. And then in a typical team as well, there must be continuous improvement. You must have a set of people that want to continuously improve. Like I've said, your foundational stage is very important. If during your screening stage, you have observed that this particular person does not want to improve, please don't take that person. Because on the long run, they will be very stiff to correct. They will be very stiff to learn, to improve. You must have a team that wants to learn and improve always. That's how they can become better. Now, there is a lot to talk about on team, but I think I will stop here. To manage your team, clear expectations, let them know what you are trying to achieve, positive culture, empower them. People that do not empower cannot perform where you want them to. If you are trying to achieve a particular thing, make sure that they are given the right tools and the right knowledge, and they have acquired the right experience needed to do whatever task. Then provide regular feedbacks. In managing a team, provide, in fact, you must have a feedback book. One of the things I suggest, or when we do this in consulting much, I usually tell whatever leader that is coming, make sure you have a feedback book or document for each person. So persons were given a task, and this is the feedback. So that whenever you are giving another feedback, the person will tell them, I think I gave you this feedback the other time. Have you been able to work on it? And so on. So have a feedback mechanism. And then, of course, be adaptable. That will not permit me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Olusoya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was loaded. I want us to quickly discuss this as we call Mrs. Pacheda in the next 3-4 minutes. Now, in the area of dysfunctionalities, how can we ameliorate when we are having one person that wants to lead others astray? For instance, there was a situation in our school, in one of the schools. I had to promote one teacher to be the HM, and the teacher I promoted as to the position of HM has lower qualification, but she's an all-rounder, and she has spent close to 11 years now in that particular school. And there's another teacher that went back again and came back again. I have got issues of teachers going and coming back to my schools. So it's not the first time that we have teachers leaving and coming back to the school. So this teacher that left and came back, so anytime they leave, those people that left our schools and came back, I still count the numbers of years as the same, because I normally have good relationship with them even when they leave the school. I always have good relationship with my staff when they want to leave, except maybe 1 or 2 in the time past anyway. So this person has higher qualification, but I looked at the character, I looked at the proficiency, I looked at loyalty. I had to make that person with the lower qualification the head teacher. Now, according to the report I got from the open house that we did on Wednesday, the report was that this other person did not want to submit to this other person. Mrs. Pacheda, Emerald, can you say something about it? Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if Mrs. Pacheda has anything to say. We are just hearing her voice for the first time. Mrs. Pacheda, you are welcome.
Pacheda, do you have anything to say concerning that?
Ms. Pacheda, you are welcome. Can she hear us?
Are you here, ma'am? Mrs. Pacheda.
Sorry, Emerald. Please give me a minute. I want to set up my earpiece. Just a minute.
Okay.
So, Emma, can you say something about
let me continue. Before I finish, she just take over and me. Now, for me personally, I feel being submissive. Personally, this is my personal thought now. I have had experiences like that before. It's not a function of education. Of course, I believe that maybe because your this happens within corporate organization, how can somebody that is lower in education than me in my head? However, that is where you stand in as, and that is where policies about what's it called? Promoting people must also be in place. These are the characteristics, and then, I also want you to communicate it clearly. We are making this person a leader because we have found this. Everybody is clear about what qualifies you to be a leader within the organization. So it's one of the things I want you to work on. Okay. Before I now give the answer on what. So please, all of us, let us work on it, because it usually causes a lot of. So while academic qualification may be one, but one of the things that we look at, for instance, if they have, maybe in your school you have about 12 criteria for a person to be promoted to a particular post, and the person meet up with 11, and you that the other person that is what's it called, meet up with just 4 or 5. You are not loyal, you are not this, you are not that. Then the next thing is to now call them, and you tell the person, what that is involved, that these are criteria that we use, so that the person can see for himself that it is not only that qualification, a lot of things are attached. So that's where you come in. That when you have made your position clear, one of the things you will start working on that new leader is for her to also build leadership capacity. Loyalty is important, but leadership is very important. But sometimes, if people becomes unsubmissive when they see that some of the things this person, because one of the things they will begin to look at is the errors of that person, which is common. You will notice that I can do better than this now. So why is not my leader or things like that? So I want you to now take time to begin to mentor, coach the agent, such that she begin to ooze some high-level leadership capacity that the person cannot receive. It happened to me in a particular organization where I was there. I was not qualified. The person I was supposed to be there, I don't know, maybe they just found me because of some of the characters. When we started, the person would say, "You're not supposed to be that way." I just, for later on, I said that this is a slap for me. If as a person, I'm still being corrected to do this, and that, I begin serious research. I begin to improve myself. Because of the level of growth, by the time we resume back, because of the level of growth I have attained, the person do not have option how to submit. Because in terms of knowledge and capacity, I have outgrown the person. So I know what to do per time. I know where she's supposed to do. So I stand my ground. So 2 things or 3 things I will, to mitigate that against future, what's it called, have criteria that is clear enough that if you want to be this in our organization, this is where you must have attained. So people know that if you are making this person a particular thing, the person deserves it, and it's clear, but the open communication. Number 2, is to call whoever is equipped and tell the person, these are if I even call both of them, these are the things that we have seen, or you can call the person individually. These are the things we have seen, and this is why we want you to do this. So once you have called them, to put that person to order immediately. And number 3, take enough time to coach your HM such that he uses exceptional leadership capacity that this person cannot withstand. So sometimes it's beyond education. When you are a leader, and people respect you for it, irrespective of your education. I think that's my submission.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is Ms. Pacheda ready?
Yes, I'm ready. And my line of thought would also corroborate what Emerald has said. As school owners, we need to cultivate an atmosphere of fairness. So for me, the starting point to managing people and also to developing leadership is for you to set the goals, you set the criteria, and you also support your people to develop. A colleague shared a similar experience with me. The person he felt to do the job best, the job of the head of a department best, doesn't have a master's degree. And it's already in the school improvement plan that whoever to be a head of department must have a master's degree. So they couldn't go ahead with making that man the head of department. So what I just told the man was, within a year or so, go and get your form, do your master's degree. The man is very committed, very, very knowledgeable, very proactive, but that certificate was an impediment. So instead of them to just impose him on people, having shared that criterion with the old school, they needed to stall for now. So it seems there's no one heading that department at present, but the man has got a form. He's going to start the program. So that would help you to build that positive atmosphere of loyalty, of commitment to your goal as a school owner. But if you just impose that other person you feel could do the job on the others, they are going to get disloyal and they will see you as being partial. So that will be my own bit. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And any school owners with any question as we invite Mrs. Pasheda. And briefly, in 1 minute, I want to say that going forward, we are going to take actionable steps concerning some of the things that we are doing. Like I said, school owners there that we have attended this conference, there are many things that we are going to do, just like we're starting all afresh. And like my head of school is somebody that started, somebody that started the school with you. And I have told her severally to go and get higher degree. And, she was complaining about money. Though it's not that the school cannot support her, but she did not want something on loan or something. So I think it's high time she'll be told to do that against new session. Thank you so much. Because she performs very well, and then she's very loyal. I've not been in the school for the past terms, and the school has been going on. She's doing very well. So I will take action. All the school owners on board. Do you have any question, or we should call Ms. Pasheda? Let's just call Ms. Pasheda so that she can give us a sessions and we wrap up. I know that I have learned a lot. I know that you also have learned a lot, and we are going to learn more as we wrap up this conference. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So we call on Ms. Pasheda to come on board. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really spoke at length the other time, and my assertions would be to do a quick recap of my last presentation, and also to nudge school owners to the next direction. So like I said last week, starting a school might even be easier than maintaining a school. And like I said last week, it is very, very imperative that we know our why. Why have I gone into this particular enterprise? It is that why that would keep propelling us when the going gets tough. And like I said the other time, for those who weren't around, there are certain key components that when school owners pay attention to, the school would keep thriving. Getting enrollments increased isn't just about designing flyers, jumping here and there. The bulk of the work of creating a thriving school lies, number one, on your structure. What structure have you put in place for your school to survive, with you being 100% present or 20% present? You know, when you go out and tell parents, we do this in my school, we do that in my school, and 10 students join your school, first term. When they come in and they don't see that routine, the promises you've given to them, you see them, they'll start living one after the other. So for me, management structure, very, very key. How does your school run every day? Does everyone in your school depend on you as the sole brain to determine operations every day? Or is there a solid system in place that runs by itself, with or without you? So I want us to reflect on that. So for us to create that enriching school program, our operations must be optimized. And that speaks to you having your solid organogram. I've been to schools on inspection and you would see no organogram. And sometimes you have organogram, but the roles are parallel. So these two people on this level, they are more or less doing the same thing. And that would lead to lots of confusions as well as rivalry. So as school owners, let's tidy up our operations. The main thing that sustains a school, you know, we hear of all these great schools that have been there for 40 years, 50 years. It is system. That is number one. The second one that I said last week is academic excellence. No matter how tidy your structure is, when the students are not delivering great outcomes in work, internally in JAM, parents are compelled to do what? Start withdrawing their kids. So academic excellence is just, let me say, it's just a fruit you can keep tapping from when you keep delivering in that area. And I said some things last week, which I wouldn't be able to repeat today. So the third one for me is enrichment, extracurricular activities. And we also discussed the question last week. Why do students go to school? Why do teachers go to school? Why do school owners build schools? For national development. So our focus shouldn't just be about content, it must also be about skills, vocational skills, 21st century soft skills. And I also asked us a question, what type of student do you want to see in the next 5 years after they've left your school? Entrepreneurs or consumers? The next one for me that I said last week is we must cultivate the habit of working with parents. Our schools can sustain, we can't sustain our schools without parents. So there must be effective, proactive, timely communication with them. And finally, for me too, enrollment. Apart from you targeting national development, a school is still a business. So your school values, your school culture, your school vision, every single thing you do in your school must be tied to what? Your enrollment. The penultimate for me that I mentioned last time was facilities. We must also be strategic about maintaining our facilities. And I said we should build in facility walk into our program. So let there be a day or maybe a day in a week or a day fortnightly where you walk around your school. The swimming pool, the classrooms, the laboratory, how are the chemicals kept? That would help to safeguard your students. It takes a single bad news to mess up a great school. Then finally for me, staff development. We keep forgetting that development in school should be targeted towards both students and staff. Fine, the teachers are teaching, but they should also be growing along with the kids. And the mindset among school owners that, oh, when I develop them, they're going to leave after the training. Please don't let us be blinded by that. Develop your staff. That is the best way to equip them. Then finally from me, I know some of us, our schools are still not that big and we're just thinking about the local environment. But I want to challenge all of us today. Though your school might not be global yet, but please plan globalization into your school program. The finances might not be there, but please start integrating the global environment into your curriculum. I mentioned COBIS last week, but essentially we would need like 1.5 hours to talk through that. So I wouldn't even go into that this evening, but just go to Google and enter COBIS accreditation standard. There are 10 of them. You might not be able to ingrain everything, but pick this, pick that, and you would see that your school program would be enriched. So I wish us all the best, and our schools will keep thriving by God's grace. Thank you so much, Mrs. Raji. That'll be all from me.
Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. I was trying to write some of the things you are recapping again. I was trying to send it to some platforms. Thank you. Because as a school owner, I am very intentional, especially as the co-host of this event. I'm not taking it lightly, not to get everything that I need to get, because I know that events like these are not all the time that you are going to get access. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. The 5 project points are something that I am going to work on as we continue year 2025. I'm talking about enrollment, and I want school owners to ask their questions. I want you to send your questions to the chat box, please. School owners, send your questions to the chat box, and some of the things that you want to, at least, can you send it? I want to ask question, Mrs. Pasheda. Yeah. Then the Emirate, you can also contribute concerning the issue of managing staff. The other time, I said I did some packages for staff just for the half term. I've not done it before. Some of the staff came to appreciate why I had like 4 of the staff that rejected the gift, like they are not interested, they were not interested in the gift. So immediately I told the ED, the education director, that I won't be giving gift again for the half-time. Please, they were not expecting something, and 4 of them. So that one was trying to, at the camp, they were trying to appeal that I should just leave them out of it, that others are appreciated to be given. What is your take on that, Mr. Pasheda?
Thank you, ma'am. My take on that is the gospel I've always preached to school leaders, school owners, that when you bring, we should have it at the back of our minds. And it would actually help us to be, I don't know, mentally resilient. When you bring in a new initiative to any establishment, have it at the back of your mind. Sincerely, I call that my shock absorber. So have it at the back of your mind that at least 70% of your staff would buy into the initiative. You know, we hurt ourselves along the line when we always think that everybody will just buy into it. That is not always the real life case. So once you can get 70% buying, sincerely, I see myself as being successful because people are different. Then secondly, for me, is the place of dealing with staff as individuals. When we recruited staff, individuals wrote assessments and we interviewed them. So I wouldn't encourage us to use a person's laxity to relate with other staff. So that's the second one for me. You deal with your staff one-on-one. Then thirdly, sincerely, difficult conversation is a course on its own. I used to be afraid of difficult conversation. You know me, I'd rather avoid drama. But I had to go through that particular course. It was a COBIS course, and it really helped me. So for me, instead of canceling the program altogether, I would advise that those 4 people are called, not together, because that's another mistake we make. If you call the 4 of them together, you wouldn't really get individual reasons for rejecting that meal because they want to save face in front of one another. So I'll call them 4 different times, talk to them in a very respectful way, starting with the positives. Oh, thank you for a beautiful half term. I really appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. But I noticed you haven't collected. I wouldn't even say you rejected. You haven't collected your meal, any reason, and you might find reasonable reasons behind that action, and that would help you to plan ahead instead of piling up, your own emotion, their own emotions, which might eventually burst out of proportion. So that would be my take on that event. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Mr. Odusanya, what's your take, please? Mr. Akinola, can you mute your mic, please? Mr. Akinola.
Yes, ma.
Mrs. Akinola, please mute your mic. Mr. Odusanya, what's your take on that? Okay. I'm trying to check the chat box for questions. No one is sending any question.
I'm still typing my question, ma'am.
Okay, can you say it? Can you say it?
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, we are with you, please, ma'am.
The network today was really bad on my side, so I was not following up through. I've been struggling with the network.
It's okay, ma'am. Let's hear your question.
Okay. So I don't actually know what have been discussed so far. I just came in, but what is bothering me in this whole thing, in the school process, the teachers area. For me, thank God I've been working through for retainership in the teachers aspects. Then another thing is that at times too, whereby someone, at times teachers can just come up like they want to leave at that very point of time. And as human beings, we can't stop them not to go. But they themselves not having the feeling that they are leaving children behind. They are leaving the school in distress because they need to satisfy their own desires first. So, like the other man that spoke about policy, having the policy in place. Not that they don't know that these policies are there. So what can one do in respect to that? A teacher knows that, okay, before I resign, I need to take permission. I need to give the school to be aware for like 3 months, a month ahead or 3 months ahead before resigning. But 1 or 2 things, some person will just come and say, oh, my husband said I should just quit. I should just stop. Probably the distance, or I'm not having full attention for other things or thereabouts. So what can one really do in regards to that?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, number 2.
Yes, number 2 is population. What can one do to really have population in a school as well?
Thank you so much. The first question is on the retainership, and the second question is on population. As Emerald and Ms. Pacheda will be planning to answer, I want us to ask all the questions so that we can put them together in case we may need to put the questions together. But before I will get another person on board to ask questions, I'd like to say that some of the teachers, Mrs. Lillian, did you give them employment letter?
No.
So that's one of the problems. You have just answered your question. So Emerald and Ms. Pacheda will be we'll be planning the answers. While we have the second person that wants to ask question. Yes, please be writing them. Emerald, are you on board? Emerald, are you on board? Hello, Emerald. Are you still there? Okay, I think Miss Pacheda is Miss Pacheda is with me. So please help us be noticing the question because I cannot hear which one from Emerald.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, who wants to the second question, please? The second question, please. Mrs. Orodu, are you have a question there? Hello, ma'am. Are you having a question? Is there a network issue? Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Hello, Mrs.
Yes,
Victoria.
I can hear you, ma.
Okay, I said, are you having any question?
No, not yet, ma.
Not yet. Okay, while you are thinking about your question, let's Mrs. Victoria, are you?
Yes, ma. Please check the chat box, ma.
Okay. Okay, while I'm checking the chat box, any other person, school building revamp makes our landlord increase the rent. What can we do? How can I get a new set of staff? Okay. Ms. Pacheda, I think you have got those two questions.
Yes, I
The
have.
school building is always attracting rent from the landlord. Then how to get new set of staff. I think even if I'm not the host, for listening to Emerald, I've got answers to all those questions. Mrs. Agu, are you there, ma? Mrs. Akinola, Mrs. Agu, can we hear from you, please, so that we can?
I'm listening. I don't have any question yet.
Mrs. Agu, Mrs. Agu. Thank you, Mrs. Akinola. Mrs. Agu, do you have anything to say? Mrs. Agu, do you have anything to say? So let's have you, Mrs. Pacheda, to talk on the first question based on the fact that Mrs. Lillian did not give employment letter and she was expecting people to resign. And the second one concerning how to get population. Then Mrs. Victoria was still talking. She spoke about it and she was still asking again how to get new set of staff, and she also wrote there about how to the landlord that is increasing rent. So let's have you talk on those two first.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I would answer the question now. I guess Mrs. Rajic has a challenge with the internet. So the first one about staff retainment. There is one suggestion that I would give to school owners. Don't let us treat our school like your school might not be the biggest school in Nigeria, but I want us to treat our schools with the mindset that we're running a big and mighty school. Secondly, we must run a school as if we're running a business. I know I've spoken about student safeguarding, staff safeguarding, but your school is also a business. I'm sure you registered your school before the name was accepted. So it's a legal entity. And it's high time school owners started holding teachers. I don't want to say to a ransom, but you hold them accountable. So your school is a legal entity. And that was why I started with structure. If you haven't done your documentations, you can talk to a lawyer. Get all your documentations right. And that also speaks to your policy. As a school owners, some policies are non-negotiable. Your safer recruitment, your safeguarding and child protection policy, your complaints policy, your feedback policy, your intervention policy, your teaching and learning policy, your curriculum policy, your bullying policy, your transition policy for those running secondary school. How do your students transition from secondary school to university? So all these policies must be in place. And when your teachers come in, I said it the other time, there must be that background check. Some of us don't get references regarding the teachers we bring on board. We are not doing ourselves any justice. I know of a school, a very big school. They don't even do references after they don't give you employment. Before they will check you out with your formal employees before they give you letter of appointment. So as a school, if you don't have a letter of appointment, it could just be a pro forma. So when this for math teacher, for English teacher, you have everything. Please, I know in the contemporary world, some of us are still afraid of ed tech and technology. As a school owner, your laptop is your best friend. And your proper documentation, arrangement of your documents neatly, so that anytime you need it, it is accessible. Very, very important. So for the teacher that left without giving you notice, they've seen the weakness, because without a letter of appointment, there is no contract between the two of you. So there must be a letter of appointment. And on the letter of appointment, you're not just telling them, congratulations, you've been employed as a math teacher, blah, blah, blah. There should be pages on the condition of working in your school. The access to leave. How do they stay back during holidays? Do you give them just a week? Everything must be stated. The working condition must be stated. Determination of appointment. What is it now? Resignation process. Is it a month notice? Is it 3 months notice? In my school where I work, it is 3 months. And if you don't give them 3 months, you are going to pay. You pay for the 2 months or 3 months that you are leaving them stranded. So everybody knows that before signing. So once you sign that letter of appointment, it becomes a legal document. That's number one. So let us stop treating our schools like, oh, mushroom schools, we're just running. No, you're not just running. You're running a business, and your business is a legal entity. And your staff on coming in must know the conditions. If they're not satisfied, then they can opt not to join you instead of leaving you stranded. Then the second one for me is succession plan. We can't hold teachers down. I'm a school leader. I'm a teacher. If I got a school that will pay me millions now, although it's not in my brand to leave my employers stranded, I might not do it. I would always think about my student, but everybody's not like me. So the moment you're planning your timetable, please let us have a succession plan. Imagine a school where there's just a teacher of English teaching JS1 to SS3. And as the school owner, you are comfortable with that arrangement. What if the teacher woke up tomorrow to say, oh, I'm leaving? Obviously, you're going to be stranded. So what I do is, I know we're looking at resources and all that, but you should have a succession plan. So maybe 2 teachers are teaching math JS1 to 3. And when this person is free, he's also overshadowing the other person's class. such that when the person leaves abruptly, there's somebody to take over that class. Then you are not left stranded. Then the third one I want to encourage us is, I know as evolving schools, we might not have that resources, but please let us treat teachers kindly. Let us treat our teachers kindly. The best gift you can give anyone is what? It's empathy. You make them feel important, make them feel relevant, make them feel heard. You already have a new initiative you are bringing on board. Don't just impose it on them. Call a meeting. Oh, this idea, what are your opinions? What are your thoughts? That will give them a sense of what? Responsibility. Let me tell you, school owners, EdTech has opened another market for teachers. As I'm talking to you now, I can't give you a list of teachers who have resigned, and they are not going to another school. They are working remotely at home with their netbooks. And I have friends that are earning 2 million at home. They buy data, they get their solar, they get the EdTech, and they're earning millions at home. They wake up anytime they like, they do their teaching, they go to bed. It's more convenient. It's something I do. If I can get an online job that will pay me 2 million, why will I be in a school and be attending meetings? One school owner is shouting at me, the headmistress is shouting at me, parents are treating me badly. So the dynamics has changed for teachers. So let us treat our teachers well. You might not have the money to give them this, to give them, but there are some little things that we do. I was telling someone, you can buy palm oil, depending on the size of your school. Buy 20 liters palm oil, share it into one bottle. They're going home at the end of the term. Give it to them. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Invite somebody to train them. Don't wait for your teachers to develop themselves with their money before you give them leadership opportunity. They're going to leave you. Develop them and they'll be loyal to you. And that's the mistake we're making. They would leave when we train them. They would leave either way. So do your part. Then regarding enrollment, for me, increasing enrollment really lies on you sharing your success story. And it still ties to your niche. What promises did you deliver to parents? Are you delivering on those promises? You can't be a jack of all trades. What do you want your school to be known for? Academics excellence, vocational. And if you're telling parents, oh, we're doing swimming, we're doing dance, we're doing this, during your PTA meetings, let there be sections where the students will come in to display those things you claim you're doing. So you share your success story in a very strategic way. If you don't want to waste time during PTA meetings, record the children, play it during PTA meetings. Once in a while, when you have events, allow your students to anchor. No parent won't take pride in seeing a confident child public speaking. Let them anchor the event. Those are little ways we can sell. We can sell our schools.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Emerald, are you there? Are you there? Are you back? Emerald. Okay. Mrs. Emerald, can you contribute?
What do you say? Can you repeat?
Oh, you are not here. What I'm saying, a school owner was asking about teachers leaving without proper restoration and how to retain teachers and other then how to increase their enrollment.
Okay, a school want to increase their enrollment. Is that what you are saying? I didn't get the question.
You can talk on school enrollment. I think we should get that just the other one.
Okay. Okay, school enrollment. Somebody says sample of school. I will try. I'm sorry. When is calling it? I'm trying to explain myself. Therefore, for school enrollment, I think we need to set targets. And then one of the things I do, even for my A level, what I want to say, and the likes. Last year, I had about one test student that I level. This year, I set target for in 2 months. I'm going to achieve one. Then how do I intend? I them down. And then I begin down. Let me say this. Enrollment is also if you have when I'm talking about I'm not talking about maybe if you can see the value, for instance, you can measure whether for the next school business program. If we ask you, have you your value? Piece of value. We ask you to come back, you come. But if it's not of value, even if you have, or you have to leave, you just give excuse and you will not come. So I feel to start after you have set your target. I strongly write it down that this in the next 5 years I want 100 and then I break it down and then break it down to every year. I want so to increase every year. That there are strategies to use. If you are just starting out, if you are a new school starting out, I consulted a particular school in Connect, safe school. It was run by a reverend pastor. A college is one of the toughest places to have a school because in that local government they have over 500 schools alone. I served in that school, in that local government, and I worked with about 500 school owners when I was a CL. Now when the man started, I said with the kind of value that he was, I did not say, please can you hear me? Please can you hear me?
It's not really clear.
Oh, I'm
Hello?
sorry.
Can you remove the echo, Emerald? Something like echo. Then others, Mrs. Ojo and Mrs. Nina,
can you hear me?
Please, can you mute your mic?
Can you hear me now?
Mute your mic.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
It's better.
can
It's
hear
better now.
Let's go.
Okay. I was saying something. I said so when he started, he called me and he said, I want to start this school. I said, sir, I think we can come up with this strategy. I said, for your enrollment, let them pay 50%. For those that are starting out, I will break it in 2 ways. For those that are starting out and those that have started, I want to increase. So I want to do it 2 ways. Especially for extremely difficult areas, like where I work with that man. Because in some areas, you have the ready market, people are ready to, based on your personality and recommendation. When a market that is very tough, I said this is what you do. Make it 50% that for the first 3 times, instead of paying 50,000, they're going to pay 25,000. He said, how is he going to be able to pay up? Because you have to pay staff. I said, for now, we might limit the number of staff I want to get. So if you have the intention of having 25 staff, for instance, we analyze it. How many staff we need enough to do it? I think we are highlighted 36. I said, sir, we are going to get just 12. That's 1/3 of whatever you want to get. I said, we'll have a serious meeting with them This is what we are trying to achieve. But by the end of the first year, your money will move from so also with this benefit because you'll be able to have achieved this. We let the teachers understood that this is what we are trying to achieve, and this is what they are going to gain if they are able to see. And then I led that meeting. I can remember very well. I said, "Who is in?" Because of the way I spoke, about 80 or 90% said they are in. And I told the man, please, once we achieve this, be true to your words. That I will not work with anybody that will now take advantage of the sacrifices people are trying to make. The man said, there's no way that I'm in charge. And then we started. We gave 50% scholarship. And then, you are in an environment where the normal school fee is about 45 or 50. And then you are saying, because if we had subsidized it, we have a sponsor sponsoring somebody, what's it called? And come and pay 30 and the likes. And then when they now came in, please take note. When they now came in, we now use two strategies. Number one, we ensure that there are basic facilities. Because one thing about enrollment is that when people bring in people, for this A level that I'm doing now, I didn't do one flyer. I have never done, since I've understand this, I have never done a flyer once. And I observe that people tell people that if you go to that place, this is what you are going to get. I say it when the parents come in, I will tell them, at the end of the first 3 months, if this person is not coming, if you are not achieving this, you can take your child away. So we told those that are working there, when they are coming in, this is what they want to come and get. And then from there, after doing that scholarship, and then they met some few facilities, and they met some very good teaching on ground. We now said, at the meeting, parents, you can see how good it is. Because we first get their feedback. I said, after the second month, during the midterm, I said, circulate the survey. Let's get feedback. Parents were saying, yes, it was good. And I said, if you want us to be able to maintain this, please, we'll bring parents and then we give you 20% commission. And then they started bringing parents. Then when we noticed that it started improving, now, after the first year, from 0 students, we made it up to 120 students in just 1 year. Now, we now said, since we know the kind of caliber of people that we want, I now said, let's streamline. That is where Mrs. Pacheda now started coming in. She said Facebook ads and the likes. While Facebook ad may be good, it has its own, but it's generally good, but it may have its own disadvantage, but it's very good, unless it's well streamlined. So a part of one of the strategy we use is that we held a conference. So there are a lot of strategies that will not permit me. We held a conference then. We call it the Parent Summit. And then when we had when you tell how to make your child to pass, or how to make yours, when we had that in that environment, we were able to mobilize people. About 180 something parents came, for that conference. And then we got their details, and we started getting their information and putting it up. Now, notice that we have some level of facilities. The teaching standard is good. The parents that are there currently, we are giving them 20% discount. We have started Facebook ads and the likes, and then the Facebook ad was streamlined such that it only affects people within the environment. If you are in that environment, we see that Facebook ad, just that environment alone, and then we streamline it to certain persons that were working. Because but that was when we got the number we needed. Because we now needed parents that could pay the amount we are looking at. And that is why your foundation, your strategy plan must be very intact. So we said, this is the school fee we are going, but we don't take it there first. So we after the parent summit, started sending information, sending mails and the like. So parents started seeing it, started bringing their child in. Don't forget, we are now using about 5, 6, 7 strategies. So in all, may I say this, that when you are trying to enroll, of course, we engage the staff as well. We have increased it at the end of the first year. We increased the staff fee. Somebody that was collecting 25,000 started collecting 60,000, and we kept to the promise. And I said, now that you have collected 60, do you know that your money can become 150? you are able to bring 10 child before the beginning of the session, we have about, at the end of the month, we have about 18. Most of them, about 60% of them bought 5 or more. And then the enrollment that year surpassed 100. As I current, the school have bought 3 buses. I've left the place, but the school have bought 3 buses. Now the enrollment, the number of students now 353, according to what the principal told me last time we spoke. Now, why am I saying all of these things? Generally, number one, you must know how many students you have. The facilities that you have now is a whole lot of, I wish I have time. The facilities that you have now and the facilities you're about to build, how many students do you have? Because when your parents come in and they see you that you jam pack your students like Sunday, they will take them away. So let's say you are I want to have 50. And then you per class, you have about let's say you have how many? You have about 10 classes. I'm just using that as an example. You have made provisions for it, and there are basic facilities. Then the next thing to work on is your teaching, the product, and processes in that school. Now, people like me, if I'm bringing a child to your school, I am careful of the quality that is coming out. And then persons like me, if I bring a child to your school and you are able to do well, I can mobilize 100 parents to come into your school. There are parents like that you can leverage on. But if your system is not good, you won't get them. Now, having said that, you are running a Facebook ad, you are giving your teacher, what's it called? You are giving parents, then you are organizing programs that are enriching within that environment. You're going to spend the money. But from there, one of the things you want to do is to collect database that you can work with. And then your products, you are writing an exam, then you have created a niche. Maybe the niche of your what's it called, you are winning competition within that local environment. People will start coming. So these are some of the things you can do to increase.
Emma, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to organize a parent summit by next time. Thank you so much. That's what I'm taking from this one that you just said. I'm going to, I've been thinking of, my husband has been doing Facebook ads. I'm also going to leverage on Facebook ads because it's not expensive. For all the school owners there, I think we have learned a lot, and any personalized things that you need, you can get across to me so that we can get answers and send to you. And for school owners that have been asking for retention, you have got that if you are not giving appointment letter, you don't expect. Mrs. Pacheda mentioned something. She said you are not signing any contract with them because you are not giving them appointment letter. No contract, they are just in your school. So just look at that. So if I did not give appointment letter, I'm not expecting resignation letter. So, and even if you are not getting a lawyer now, because your school, you are just starting out, you can see, do something, get a document that these people will sign. And they're concerning the person that asked about the landlord increasing the rent. I think she's not here again. The landlord increasing the rent. I just pray. Somebody said that if you are on rented apartment, you don't have a school. I don't want to say yes or no. Because we started on rented apartments and we have facilities now. So I pray that I pray that God will give you your own facility by God's grace, in Jesus' name, so that you can paint anytime. I'm planning to paint now. Nobody can hold me. So we have learned a lot. You can do parent summit. I'll be doing parent summit, and I'll also be reaching out to schools that are interested in doing parent summit to be supporting them. That's one of the things I'm taking out. I'm not taking this conference lightly. I have written a lot, up to 10 things I'm going to start doing. So what are the things that you want to start doing? What are the things that you have written that you start doing after this conference? By tomorrow, after service, I'm going to review some of the things that I have written that I will start doing. Or you can do much more. Like this one that the Emirate said broke the ice, the iceberg. A school from 7 population moved to 120. Imagine, because they did scholarship, because they prepared, because some school owners wanted 200 pupils, but no classroom. So if you want 200 and there are no classrooms, so where are you going to take them? Emma had even mentioned that if you are packing students like a Sunday, like you pack them like you are packing fishes in a Sunday box container, parents will not be happy. So we have to look at our processes. All the things that Ms. Pasheda said is as if I'm using everything to start all over again. Children's safety, staff safeguarding, parents too, even the community. So these are the things that we need to go back to our drawing board after this conference. We need to go back to our drawing board. If you need to give payment to Farah, like I told you, I'm giving referral. Referral is working. Because teachers were collecting money for referral, parents were collecting money, but I'm going to do it all over and all over again. So you can do referral and your systems, let everything work and work on your strategies. So do we still have somebody to say a word of sign out as we are preparing to sign out on this conference? Do you have somebody?
Thank you very much, my doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Kaola, I really appreciate you. It was as if we should not stop it. Though time is not on our side, but I've really, with the little time I've been able to join, like today, I was not around, I wasn't available yesterday. So this is the second time I will say I have gained a lot. It was as if I've not started school, that I just want to start. Because everything, I think that I need to start all over, in which I'm grateful for signing into this seminar. So thank you very much. From Mr. Emrad, again, issue of accountability, issue of communication. Even though initially I was giving letter, but it got to a time, so many things overwhelmed, they just come. Though I don't have the issue of teacher just living like that, they will always tell me, we look at it together. But, we should be on our toes, especially the way things are going now. We shouldn't relent that our teachers don't leave, so therefore I can just do anyhow. So I have seen that everything I learned in those 2 days, I'm able to participate. I need to really work on myself. So I will still contact you maybe as from Monday, Madam, so that I get more of those things that were said. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate Mrs. Pasheda, Mr. Emrad, Mrs. Oluwatosin, Taiwo Raji. God bless you. I appreciate you. Whenever you call another one, in fact, I'll be the number one to register.
Oh. Okay, thank you so much, ma. We are still going to take a photograph. All the recording session will be sent to you. All the recording sessions will be sent to all the school owners, all the registered school owners, like that. Some people that registered and they did not attend at all. So we have to send the recording sessions to them. And apart from that, we are still going to send 1 or 2 slides to all of you. We are going to send them to you so that you can also peruse and digest and use them. Then concerning the policy, I'm going to get you to Emirate so that the Emirate can send policies to us, to me, so that I can also send policies to you. And I know for the school owner, Ms. Pasheda, can you briefly talk to the school owner that the landlord is always reviewing the salary immediately she pays. Can you?
Okay, Mrs. Raji. Sorry, please, you permit me to just chip in a few other things. The first one about staff attrition, staff leaving. Please, school owners should try to do exit interviews with whoever is leaving. Okay, and just do it in a very respectful way. Don't get angry. Let them be free to say whatever that they are not cool with, that might have necessitated their leaving, and document it. That would really help you to keep working on getting better at your school. Then the second one is handover notes. Please put that in your policy. Whoever is leaving your school must give you a detailed handover note regarding whatever roles you've given them. So that will be like a blueprint for whoever is succeeding them. That is number 2. Then the third mistake we make is we don't systemize our operation. I've said it earlier. Don't ever leave any activity in the hand of a single teacher in your school. They feel so empowered and they hold you to a ransom. So if there's somebody doing MC in your school, make sure there are 2 other teachers that can do it very well. And don't just leave it with that person. Somebody is in charge of exams in your school. Don't let one person do it. Let there be like a committee. Please build committees into your system. So committee in charge of timetable, committee in charge of exams. So if somebody leaves, your school keeps running. Then regarding painting of your school, the only thing I will still say is we don't see our schools as a legal entity. So if I've negotiated for a particular rent that would last me for a year, if I'm painting and you are bringing in stress my way, since we've gone through the documentation and everything is legal, documented, I can sue you. Please don't let us be afraid of saying, okay, we want to go legal. Let us be bold. You are running a business. You are not a Father Christmas. And don't be afraid. If it is painting that would attract your customer, when you're negotiating your rent, let it be properly documented. Take all your legal steps. So once the landlord knows that everything is documented, they would also be careful to start harassing you. So please, your business is a legal entity. Treat it as a business and be bold. That's all I will add. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Pacheda. I think without much ado, we have gone to the end of this program. I want to say thank you. It's as if we should continue like Madam said, but we want to chew a piece of meat for a long time, but the esophagus will not allow us to do that. So thank you so much. I want to say thank you to all the participants. We are going to be getting in touch with you because we want you to have a success story. And by the time I will be sharing the success story with Emerald and Ms. Pacheda and all of you, I said this time next year, a school should be able to give me double. And on our platform, I think by God's grace, by God willing, I should be able to be sharing some of the things some of the strategies that I use with school owners, because the idea is for all of us to go together. If you know, a school has just resumed Nigeria, will be resuming Nigeria in September. Apart from that school in Ikoyi, what's the name of the school in Ikoyi? Now the primary school collecting that the fees around 30 million.
House.
Yes,
Charter House.
Yeah, Chartered House. Another one is resuming. They just sent it to me. Another one will be resuming. Before we thought that the Waterman is collecting school fees. They are not collecting anything. Another one is resuming bigger than Chartered House by September. So now these people now are finding Nigeria fatter for school business. I told my husband, I said it's a good idea because they will be helping us. If before we were thinking that schools collecting 10 million per session that they are paying, but these guys are collecting now like 30 million, and some of them will be collecting 50 million. So school owners also, it will be helping the school, because apart from the fact that we'll be having a lot of international students in Nigeria, it will also help existing schools. So where do you want to see your own school in the next 5 years? Emerald was talking about 5 years plan. So your 5 years plan, like we all said, we have made up our mind that we're starting all over again. I am starting all over again. 5 years plan. So by next year, we should be able to double. That school did not double from 7 to 120 is not doubling. That one, the multiplier effect was huge. So what is your own multiplier effect? I want to say thank you for coming. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for all of us that came, all of us that have been attending, and all of us that we ended this event. Thank you so much. Emma, do you have anything to say as we close this conference? Emma is very tired. He has been speaking for a long time. Don't worry, ma. I'm going to talk to you about the landlord stuff after. Emma, thank you so much. And I wanted him to talk. Yes. Looking forward to having more time with me. And Mr. Pasheda, we will be inviting her for our conferences. She is very loaded. And we need that international touch. I want my school to go international. So we need a facilitator that has more of international nonsense. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Are we calling it a day right now? Emma is not saying anything. Emma is very tired. Are we calling it a day? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
I don't feel like leaving you, but I just have to. So I'll be having more time with you. So I'll be getting in touch with Emerald. I'll be getting in touch with you. Then Mrs. Amodu is not here. He took permission. I will send Emerald number to her. Mrs. Agu, I will send Emerald number to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that you can discuss more with him concerning what you wanted. And Mrs. Orodu, I'll be seeing more of you. Mrs. Victoria, Mrs. Ojo, Mrs. Akionla, and Mrs. Lillian. Thank you so much. See you once again. We are going to have a program on school enrollment. We will get in touch with you on school enrollment. Apart from all these things that we have learned, we are going to have something on the school enrollment, step by step, actionable steps that we can all take together so that we can prepare for 2025-2026 session. And Mrs. Victoria, you are starting all over again. Just have it at the back of your mind that this one, you are going to make it. It does not matter the past. We are going to make it. We are going to make it. Thank you and God bless you. See you.